everyone, it's Albie. Welcome back to my channel. I have a movie review for you today. So I've mentioned before that one of my favorite sort of hobbies or things I like to do are talk about like potential Best Actress winners, and I'm really intrigued by people or films that I think will be considered for the Oscars Best Actress. And I think it's safe to say that as of September 28th, which I'm filming this, we have our definite first contender for Best Actress for 2023. And I think that is going to go to Anadearmas for Blonde, which is the Netflix film by Dominik, I believe is the director. And it is based on the novel by Joyce Carol Oates. I was an English major and I absolutely love Joyce Carol Oates. I own the book Blonde by her, but I haven't read it yet. I need to get to it, but she's just one of my favorite authors. If you are a fan of short stories, I highly recommend picking up some of her collections. I really like the one collection called the Assignation, I believe is the title. It has a woman, at least on my version of the cover, it's a woman sort of like unzipping the back of her dress. And that has one of my favorite short stories of all time, which is The Tryst by Joyce Carol Oates. It's wonderful. So in Blonde, we have our lead actress playing Marilyn Monroe / Norma Jeane Baker, or vice versa, and that is Ana de Armas. We also have sort of her love interest along the way. I can't find the actor's name, but we have Eddie Robinson Jr., and Cass Chaplin, who's Charlie Chaplin's son. And from what the film is projecting in the novel, and I believe basically fact, is that Marilyn Monroe had a polyamorous or sort of throuple relationship with these two men. And these men are portrayed by Evan Williams, who portrays Robinson Jr., and Xavier Samuel, who plays Charlie Chaplin Jr. And so the film is rated NC-17, and I guess I can sort of see why. When I was about 15 years old, there was this documentary on IFC called, I believe it was called This Film Is Not Yet Rated, and it was a documentary about the rating system and how things are deemed, each rating, whether G, PG, PG-13, R, NC-17, etc. And so it is rated NC-17, and it claims it's for some sexual content. So in the film, we do have a brief shadowy instance of full frontal female nudity at the beginning. We have a scene of attempted forced suicide. So, someone someone else trying to unalive someone else. We have scenes of forced abortion, and there is a semi-close-up simulated blowjob scene. You don't see any phallus. It's just sort of hands and sucking motion, but very up close. So I guess that is what deemed it the NC-17. Honestly, I think it could have just been R. I don't really know why it was NC-17. I'm not quite sure. I will say that there was a scene for attempted, I guess it was like basically murder. That scene was a little hard to watch because it does depict a mother trying to drown her child. So, spoiler alert, that is definitely hard to watch. And I will say the forced abortion scene was definitely triggering. It was very, very in your face. And I'm not sure if it was the director's choice or if it's projected in Oates' novel. But I did find it interesting to have these long, drawn-out scenes of I don't know if it's the plural of fetus, if it's fetuses or feti, but I'll say fetuses. It does show these fetuses of the 3 or so pregnancies that are, that Marilyn Monroe / Norma Jeane were carrying. And so that was a little interesting. It was a little, I don't know if this meant to be, if the director is a pro-life person or what. It just was a little very abrasive to see, I would say. But I guess his idea of some of the complications of Norma Jeane / Marilyn's life were how she tied sort of pregnancy to sort of a negative ideology. from what's projected in the story is that Norma Jeane never felt loved or wanted. And there is a scene early in the film where we have her mother, Gladys, who's portrayed by Julianne Nicholson, fabulous actress, by the way. There's just these scenes of, not being wanted. There's a scene of, Gladys trying to unalive Norma Jeane. At the beginning, that's very, very hard to watch. That was probably the most horrific scene to watch. It's not long, but it's not short either. And so it's a tough film. I will say it is NC-17, but it's not really for sexuality or whatever. It's a hard film to watch. It's not a feel-good film, but the life of Marilyn Monroe was not easy. Her mother had mental illness, and Norma Jeane / Marilyn always had this fear of the illness sort of seeping into her, whether it was genetic or whatever. She always had this innate fear of losing her mind and becoming like her mother. And, that's a really hard subject for people to understand. And so it's not an easy film to grasp, but it was some extraordinary acting. I would say there was a monologue which was about, give or take, 25 minutes into the film, that I thought to myself, yeah, I think anadearmas has an Oscar nomination, if not win. I really think she's going to win in the bag. Not only do I think she's going to win for her acting, I think she's going to win from a publicity and marketing standpoint, because a lot of people feel that Austin Butler is going to win Best Actor, and just something about icons from the 50s who are being portrayed in 2022 winning Oscars. I just think that's a really cohesive marketing idea. And so to think that in 2022/23, we're going to have a man who played Elvis potentially win, and have a female who portrayed Marilyn Monroe win Oscars is, that's really good marketing. So I think that is also something to note for, Oscar buzz, road to the Oscar, etc. I will say this isn't my typical video, but I love movies, so I wanted to make this. But I thought the acting was really good. I really enjoyed our male leads. We had Bobby, what's his name? I have the acting list here on my screen. Bobby Cannavale. They have this in order of appearance, which is really annoying. But Bobby Cannavale plays the ex-athlete, as he's mentioned in the book, and that is Joe DiMaggio. I had to remember. And then we have Adrien Brody, who plays Arthur Miller, and I thought they also did wonderful jobs. Bobby Cannavale's role, I would say, was a little shorter, just because, in the scheme of things, DiMaggio and Monroe were only married for about 9 months, and so it was very, very short. But I believe it was DiMaggio who always put flowers on her grave. If someone is more of a Marilyn historian, I'm pretty sure he always did that. It could have been Miller, but I thought it was DiMaggio. But both actors did wonderful performances as DiMaggio and as Brody. And as Miller. I thought that was very interesting. The costumes were really lovely. The sets were wonderful. I also liked a lot of Dominik's stylistic choices. I thought it was smart to do parts of it in color and parts of it in black and white. When we think of, at least when I think of Marilyn Monroe, specifically in the 50s era, I really think of her in that black and white ideology, and that's because that's how she was presented. That's how films were made. They were in black and white, and photography was predominantly in black and white. I know there is a famous photo that she did for Life magazine where she has a gold lame halter dress, and I believe she's wearing Fire and Ice lipstick by Revlon. I think that's pretty cool. And that's in color. That's usually a famous photograph. She's got like the arms like this. But when we think of Marilyn, at least when I do, I think of black and white. So I thought that was a cool stylistic choice. Now I will note on anadearmas posted about her doing this singing, and I do think she did some of the singing. On IMDb, it says that Vanessa Lemonades is the Marilyn singing voice, and I think it's possible that she could have had her voice blended with a Marilyn voice alike sort of thing. And I think that's perfectly fine. Marilyn Monroe, of course, didn't do 100% of all of her singing. For example, the song Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend? Yeah. Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. That was sung by Marilyn mixed with Marni Nixon, who's a very famous voice dubber of the, is it golden or silver era of Hollywood. Marni Nixon did the Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend mixing with Marilyn's voice. She also did, I believe, all of Natalie Wood's singing for West Side Story. She also did a large majority of Audrey Hepburn singing in My Fair Lady. So I have no problem with someone mixing in their vocals with the Armas's. Austin Butler, I believe, did the same thing, but I think a lot of his was more so Elvis or an Elvis voice alike doing the singing. So I think that's pretty cool. So it wasn't 100% her singing, but honestly, that Marilyn style of singing wasn't all Marilyn's either. So, that's interesting to note. But my thoughts for Blonde, I would give it a score of a 9 out of 10. It wasn't necessarily enjoyable, like, ooh, that was fun to watch, but it was very interesting. The acting was really good. I think anadearmas is some very strong competition for the Oscars. Do I think, now here's the thing to ponder. Sometimes Best Actress winners and Best Actress sort of films, the only thing they're ever nominated for is Best Actress. Do I think that this could take home a couple other awards? Sure. I think this could take home adapted screenplay by, I believe, Dominik also did the screenplay. So I think he has a potential nomination for adapted screenplay from the novel by Oates. I think costumes were really lovely. I think costumes could come home. I think Adrien Brody could have a strong chance for Best Supporting Actor. And I do think that, let me get her name right. I really like her as an actress. Julianne Nicholson could take home a Supporting Actress nominee for her role as Gladys Baker, I believe was her last name, Marilyn's mother. If you don't know, Julianne Nicholson won the Emmy like 2 years ago for Mayor of Easton, which is that HBO mystery miniseries with Kate Winslet. She is fantastic in that. She's a wonderful actress. I liked her. I saw her in Kinsey, about his name Alfred Kinsey, like the sex doctor dude. She was really good in that film. But yeah, I've kind of rambled all over the place, but I really did enjoy the film Blonde. I really thought I would, and it lived up to its expectations. Right now, the reviews are a little mixed, but from a Best Actress lover standpoint, I really think anadearmas did a fabulous job as Marilyn. I think she might be my favorite Marilyn. I really did enjoy, Michelle Williams in My Week with Marilyn. And I have also enjoyed, there was a film called, I think, From Norma Jeane to Marilyn, which came out in the 90s. And I want to say Ashley Judd played Norma Jeane and someone else played Marilyn. I really liked that. I think it was a miniseries. I thought that was really good. And I believe in the early 2000s, there was a miniseries with Poppy Devanille, who played Marilyn Monroe, and that was of Blonde, the text from Blonde by Oates. I haven't seen that in a while, but yeah, I've rambled on a little too much, but I absolutely loved Blonde by the Netflix film company and Andrew Dominik. I thought anadearmas was wonderful. It's heavy subject matter, so it's not for everyone. But I will say, if you are a person that loves Best Actress films, if you like Marilyn Monroe and the story of her life, it's heavy material again. But I would say it's well worth the time. It is about 2 hours and 47 minutes. And someone had a thing online, is there end credits? There isn't an end credit. So when it goes to the credit scene, you can exit out, go to another film, whatever. But I love the film, and I think others will as well. Everyone, I hope you've had a wonderful day, and I will see y'all soon for another video. Bye, everyone.